Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to have you here with me because today we are doing something a little fun. So, just like everybody else in the world for, the past couple of months, I have been really getting into my Bridgerton fix. I've watched every season including Queen Charlotte and, just kind of finished up the third season few weeks ago or whenever it came out, and now I am kind of missing it, and I feel like it's too soon for me to rewatch it, but I still want those vibes. Like, I'm thinking about the classical remixes of the pop songs from there. I even made a playlist because I just loved that. I don't know, it gave for me. So I like listening to those now, but it's still not giving me what I need. So to fix that, I feel like in this vlog we can read some historical romances and kind of give ourselves that fix until, I want to say, until we get the new Bridgerton season. But y'all, I heard it was like going to be 2 years before we got that. I'll just say I will read these books until I'm ready to get into that rewatch. That sounds better. In this vlog, I plan on reading Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater, which is the first book in the Regency fairy tale series, and then Anna Maria and the Fox by Liana de la Rosa, which is the first book in, I think, the Luna sister series, and Unladylike Lessons in Love by Amita Murray, and this is the first book in the Marley sister series. I think that's what it's called. And finally, I plan on doing my reread of The Davenports by Krystal Marquis, and this is the first book in the Davenport series. And we have our second book called More Than This. It'll be coming out in November, so I just wanted to do a reread anyway, and now felt like the perfect time. Alrighty, I am about 27% into Half a Soul, and I want to say I have thoughts, but I don't know that I have any like profound thoughts. In this book, we are following Dora, who had half of her soul taken by this lord as a debt that her mother owed him. And so she doesn't feel things like embarrassment or fear or, anything really, and or she feels them, just not to the extent that a normal human would. She stays with her aunt and her cousin Vanessa. Vanessa has really looked out for her whole life. She's the reason why the Lord only took half of Dora's soul and not the whole thing, because she attacked him and made him run away. And they end up going to London because it is what is it even called? Is it just called The Season? I feel like I should be embarrassed because I've watched too much Bridgerton to not know this, but I feel like it's just called The Season or whatever, to try to get Vanessa married to a nice lord. Vanessa convinces her mom to bring Dora along and maybe get her married as well, and they meet this lord who is a magician, and he takes an interest in Dora, of course, once he finds out what's really going on with her and what her deal is. And that's kind of where I am now. I don't know that I expected to love it, but I do know that I expected to like it more, and I'm only 25% in, and I'm not hating it, but I'm just feeling kind of mid about it. The humor is not hitting as much as I would have wanted it to. Like, I'm like, but I'm like, kiki. So I'm having a pretty okay time. Like I said, I am enjoying it enough. I am intrigued to figure out what's going to happen. I'm just hoping that my feelings are stirred more by this book because I really want to like it. I feel like this book should be something that I love, and we'll see what happens. I don't have anything bad to say right now. I am a little annoyed by Lord Sorcier, who's um, the one who is intrigued and essentially going to help Dora figure out what's going on. He was his entrance into the book was very like ill. I did not like him at all. He was a rude asshole. So I mean I guess that's kind of the point. But I'm hoping to actually like him more just because I have suspicions that that is who the love interest is going to be. I could totally be making that up, but like I said, it's just my thoughts and what I feel like is going to happen. So I hope that he definitely becomes more likable. Okay, so I have finished Half a Soul and I'm going to eat my words. Yeah, I'm eating my words right now because around like maybe the 56 60% mark, now this got super cute and it gave what I initially thought that it was going to give, and I was eating it up. Like I was giggling out loud at how cute this was, and I just am baffled. Like I for sure thought that, this was just going to be a disappointment, but it actually really turned around and surprised me. And I love the relationship between Dora and Lord Sorcier. Like, it was the cutest thing ever. Like, the way he became a simp out of nowhere. Like, it was just, it warmed my heart. It was really cute. And all of the cozy, whimsical vibes that I was hoping for. It was very interesting what ended up happening to Dora, and I feel like that's spoilery, so I can't even say anything. But I like the way that that was handled, and you know how that all wrapped up. I really I can't say anything because I feel like I'm gonna be spoiling it. Gosh, what can I say? The romance was really cute. It was sweet. Um, Lord Sorcier ended up being a very nice love interest, especially for Dora. And I'm glad that we got more insight into why he was the way that he was and what was going on with him, because I could not stand his ass at the beginning. I was just so irritated. And I was irritated because I felt like I wanted to like him because I felt like it was being set up for him to be the love interest, and he was just getting on my last nerve. But that did turn around. I ended up giving this a 4 star, and I feel like if we had got the same energy from the beginning that we did from that second half, it would have been an easy 5 star. It just, probably one of my favorite books ever. But I just feel like that first half was very much different than the second, and I definitely, obviously, much prefer the second half. As far as continuing on in the series, I don't know. I know that we will be following different couples. And I think there's a sapphic book in this series, and I'm always down for the gays. So I might check that out, but it's not anything that is pressing. So we'll see what happens. But overall, I am happy that I'm eating my words and happy that this book turned around, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, so I am a little over 100 pages, maybe like 115 pages into Anna Maria and the Fox. And y'all, this is so good. I'm like really enjoying this. I'm shocked at how much I'm liking this. But let me tell you what got me. When I opened this book and I saw the dedication, I think I posted it in the B roll of me opening the book and starting it or whatever. And it says, "For the eldest daughters who work so hard and do so much, I see you, I am you." And what? Like, what? Y'all, I'm not even an oldest daughter, and that will be a theme that will be kind of prevalent on my channel, I guess you could say. I'm not an oldest daughter. I am the second of 5 daughters. I definitely relate to and feel all the older sister vibe feelings, especially like on the TikToks and stuff when people are talking about it. I'm like, ugh, can't relate so much. So with that, we're learning about Anna Maria, who is trying to be the perfect oldest daughter for the family. And Anna Maria and her younger sisters, Isabel and Gabriella, have moved to England to escape the French occupation of Mexico. And so they are there to hide out, basically lay low, don't cause any stir up. But the uncle who is essentially sponsoring them is telling them that they need to get out into society, make friends, make waves, and get people to see like this is important for the British people to speak up and to speak out against French occupation of Mexico. And at the same time that this is happening, we also have the Civil War happening in America. We have people trying to fight against the slave trade that is still happening. So that's where Gideon Fox, our other main character, comes in, because he has kind of a rags to riches story. His grandma was a slave, so he is of course trying to fight against slavery, slave trades, all of those things, and he has made his way into parliament, and he is not letting anything derail his plans as far as being a politician and actually getting things done and making sure change is happening, that he is playing a large part in that. So they end up meeting each other at a ball, become friends of sorts, I guess. There is obviously some interest that they each have. So Anna Maria is engaged to a shithole, unfortunately, who decided that he needed to stay in Mexico and hide out along with her parents. And so she's like, okay, I kind of have this interest in getting him, but I can't do anything because I'm engaged already. And she has a hard time not doing what her father wants her to do. Her father is very controlling over all of them, and she's trying to break out of that since she has this freedom. So it's discussing all of these things, and I am just eating it up and having the best time. And of course, with it being in London during the season, there's balls and gowns and dancing and all of these things, and I'm just having a really good time. I love learning about, the Mexican culture and how that is playing a part in who these girls are and how they are. And I just love that we all, and I say we all, but how most people who are not white see the British as colonized. That's the colonizers that they are, the British and the French, and how they feel, especially in this time, but there is still some of that today, how they feel like their culture is the culture, even though is it really? Nope. Y'all not gonna get me. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. But I just think it's very nice to read Regency's story about, non-white people, and I'm having a good time reading this. Okay, friends, so I am back with an update. I have officially finished Anna Maria and the Fox, and y'all, I absolutely love this book. Like, I ate this all the way up. Like, this exceeded any expectations that I even had for this book. And I I don't know, like this is definitely going to be a new favorite for me. I loved how it discussed classism, racism, colorism, all the isms, and did it in a really honest way. This was a really great exploration of finding who you want to be versus who you're expected to be, and also how, it's okay to change up what you want out of life and everything isn't as black as white, as black and white as it sometimes seems, and there's a lot of areas of gray. And I really liked how in the end Anna Maria got what she wanted out of life, and she let go of her father's expectations of who he wanted her to be. And I just thought that was really great, and that Gideon was able to, take a breather from his goals and what he was working towards, to be able to step back and actually enjoy life, because he was working so hard that he never took a breath to just enjoy the life that, he earned. Maybe is that what I'm trying to say? Anyway, I just thought that this was really cute. Now, I will say this took an unexpected turn, and I'm just, in order to avoid spoilers, I'm just going to call it the Lord Tyrell situation. I was not expecting that, because I thought this was, I knew that it was a cute romance that did have some substance and did have that commentary, but I was not expecting that. And not even gonna lie, it kind of threw me out of the story a little bit, and it just happened so fast. And maybe that's why I didn't end up giving it a 5 star. It's not that I didn't like what happened, I just was like, hold on, you're taking me too fast. Like, what? So I ended up giving this a 4.5. This was cute. There is spice in this book. It starts probably maybe 60, 70% in, and yeah. Um yeah, it was cute. I think one of the things that I really enjoyed in this book was the conversations that they had on science and religion, and I feel like I really related to that. Maybe not so as like believing science is real, because there's a conversation like Charles Darwin and like his things that he was coming out with at the time, which was really controversial, especially to religious people. I feel like that is kind of how I can relate to that conversation of, finding out things that you might have believed your whole life aren't necessarily true, or there's a possibility that they could not be true. And that is kind of mind blowing and like really crazy. But I did really enjoy my time with this book. I ate it up. There's annotations everywhere, there's really good quotes. And I also loved the sisterhood in this book. Their father was a really awful, controlling piece of shit. And the fact that he raised his daughters to be adversaries and not sisters, it ugh, pisses me off. And so they also, throughout this book, are learning how to be sisters and how to be friends with each other. And I just think that was really cute and sweet. And yeah. I really enjoy this book. I don't know if I've said it because I just feel like I've been rambling, but I did give this book a 4.5, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I am going to continue on in the series. I think the next book is called Isabel and the Rogue, and it's already out. So I feel like we're going to get a book from all three sisters, but there hasn't been any announcement for a Gabriella's book. But I definitely plan to pick them all up. This is definitely a series that I feel like I'm going to really vibe with, and I'm super excited to continue on and find out more. Okay, so I am back and I'm not bringing good news. I decided that I am going to have to DNF Unladylike Lessons in Love, and I'm really sad about this one, but this is also the one that I felt like I was taking the biggest chance on, because while it is a historical romance, it is also like a mystery suspense type novel as well. And I don't feel like I did this book justice. And I say that because I did not ever fully read the synopsis of this book. I just kind of, skimmed it. I can't even honestly say that I skimmed it, because the tagline at the top, I read it while I was reading it and I'm like, yeah, this is not what I was expecting. And that's no fault to this book. I actually think that the story would be really compelling and really interesting, and I liked the writing. If this is something that sounds good to you, I think you should pick it up. I just did not do my due diligence, and it kind of bit me in the ass on this one. So the synopsis says, as the eldest daughter of an English earl and his Indian mistress, Lila Marley knows what it's like to be an outsider from polite society. As children, she and her sisters were wrenched from their home and sent to England, never quite accepted by those who claimed to care for them. Now Lila has set herself up as a hostess of an exclusive gaming club, charming the ton that flocks to her establishment each night, though it shuns her by day. One night, Ivor Tristram comes barging through her door, accusing her of being his father's mistress. Lila defies his expectations at every step and convinces him to navigate London's rat pits and pleasure gardens with her in her quest to solve a violent crime. As they set out together to uncover the truth, an irresistible passion ignites that will shake them to their core. Lila must fight to protect those she loves, yet the biggest threat is the sanctity of the heart she has guarded so carefully all her life. Yeah, so if this sounds interesting to you, you can actually get this copy because I will be putting it up on my Pango. My Pango Books account name is Erin Bookish, so the same as this channel. So if you want this book, it will be up on there for a really cheap price. I don't usually sell my books really high, but whatever. If you want this, if this sounds good, I really suggest that you pick it up. And I ended up DNFing this book at 26%, so I was about 75 pages in, and I think I don't know why these buzzwords weren't hitting my brain, but violent crime, pleasure gardens, all of these words and hints, romance and mystery, all of this stuff was there, and it didn't click, because I was so shocked when it got, I don't even want to call it dark. It was just more graphic than I was expecting. I think that's a good word. And I was just thrown off, especially because the other historical Regency romances that I've been reading have been more on the fluffy side. So I was not expecting what I got from this, and it threw me all the way off. But like I said, the writing was good, and I think this could be a good story for someone. I wasn't expecting it to be, I don't want to call it dark, because I don't know, how dark it actually is. If it was dark to me, but also, like I said, I was coming off of really fluffy Regency romances. So if you are looking for something more on the fun, fluffy side, closer to Bridgerton, this isn't it. But if you're looking for something that is a little more hard-hitting, a mix of romance and mystery, I think that this might be the book for you. Yeah. I am about 150 pages into the Davenports. And did I leave it in another room? Yes. Am I going to get it? No. So I'll just pop up the picture. I am having a really good time with this reread. I forget how much I, enjoyed being in this world with these characters and just seeing them trying to figure out life, and not just figure out life, but figure out who they want to be in this transition period for Black people. I can stay in my little bubble of wealth and comfort and stay oblivious, or I can go get educated and find out what I can really do to help people. Because I think there was a quote in here, and I might pop up a picture of it because I did highlight it, but it was a quote where this guy was saying, like, you help, and they like donate and give food and all of this thing, but they don't really do anything that would jeopardize their reputation. So they just do very surface level things, but you're not risking anything. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but basically it's like you're not really sacrificing anything for the cause. You're not even really helping. You're just kind of throwing money at the problem and letting other people do the dirty work. So it's like, you know that is very true to today. So I think it's about learning your, and that's any cause, it's about learning your lane, but also like not being passive about it. If it's something that you say you really care about, I guess I should tell you what this book is about. I started talking. So the Davenports follows four girls. We have Olivia Davenport and her younger sister Helen Davenport. And then we have Olivia's best friend Ruby Tremaine. And we have Olivia and Helen's lady's maid, I guess you would call it. Her name is Amy Rose. So we get each of their perspectives in these books. And Olivia is out in society. I think it's her second season. So she's trying to find a husband. She just wants to, be the perfect daughter, be what her parents want her to be, marry into, marry someone that is acceptable. And yeah, Helen, on the other hand, which is the youngest Davenport sister, all she wants to do is work for the family business. The Davenports own a carriage company, and all she wants to do is work on carriages, work on cars, and be a part of the business with their brother John. But of course, in this time, like, it's not what a lady's supposed to do. And so she's fighting what is expected of her and what she actually wants to do. And then we have Ruby, and Ruby's father is running to be the first Black mayor of Chicago. And that campaign has, you know, that campaign is very expensive. And so they are definitely not living the life that they're used to. Their wealth and money and extravagance has definitely been brought down a bunch of notches. And they're also trying to hide that from the high society people and keep up with the appearances that they have set. And so Ruby likes John Davenport, and her parents are pushing her to, get him to propose to her because if the Tremaines are formally aligned with the Davenports, and that makes them look better to society. And also, Ruby marries into wealth and, you know, all the things that usually happen in these historical romances. And Amy Rose, her mother was actually worked for the Davenports, and she passed, but they allowed her to stay on. And she grew up as a friend to the Davenport siblings, but it's her trying to now realize, like, hey, they're about to get married. Well, the sisters are, and the Davenports probably won't have a use for me anymore. So I'm going to have to find somewhere else to go. And also, like, I'm not a Davenport. Like, as much as they invite me in, and make me feel like family, I am separate from them. I live a different life from them. They're not going to take care of me. I'm going to have to take care of myself. And so she wants to open a salon and do hair and sell her own products. So she's been saving up money. And she also has some feelings for John Davenport. So this is just following them, and as they figure out life and what they want to do and who they want to be. And it's really cool. I think for sure this is the book that is most like Bridgerton, in the sense that we are following the siblings and their lives and how they're intertwined and who they're dating and all the things and the friends and stuff, but it definitely has more depth for sure, because we are discussing things that are happening to black people. They still aren't, accepted in some places, and Jim Crow is starting to happen in the South, and then that, how is that, going to bleed upwards into the North and affect people? The father of the Davenports, I can't remember his first name. He was actually enslaved, and was able to get his freedom. So there's also that portion of it, and that definitely, you know, kind of changes the way that the Davenports were slash are being raised and how they're being brought up and how he is shaping them to see the world. All of that definitely brings a different backdrop. It's very interesting to see a different take on the historical romance. And this is also young adult. So there's not going to be that spicy. Did y'all see that? Not the lights flickering. Wait a minute. It's too hot for that. We do not need the power to go out. It is entirely too hot. That scared me. But anyway, yeah. I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, I was saying that this is why, so there aren't like graphic scenes, spicy scenes, which is fine. We don't need that in every book. So yeah, I'm having a good time with this reread and just being back with these characters. And yeah, that's all I got. Okay, friends, I am back and we have finished the Davenports. And y'all, I ate this up again. The first time I read this book, I gave this a 4 star, and it's still a 4 star for me. I had a really good time with this book. I just feel like I love all of our four main characters for different reasons, and I think it was such a great idea for it to be in the POV of each girl instead of having to learn about it from someone else, or it being like third person. I think it was really great that we got to see the situation from, the sides of the girls and also how they perceived each other's situation. I think it was just really interesting and really fun. And also it did tackle, some heavier topics with Jim Crow laws and the discrimination against not only black people but also mixed people at this time. I just had an overall really great time. Like, I ate this up. Like, this is such a quick read. If you're looking for that, this is something that you will fly through. I just, I don't know. I was singing this book's praises all day because I just had a really good time reading this. I really enjoyed how each character handled their coming of age story, I guess, or coming into their own as women. I really, really love that. And I, by the end of this book, though, it does end on cliffhangers. Like each person and each POV and each perspective, all the things ends on a cliffhanger. And I'm like, what are we gonna do? What? Like, how is this? What is gonna happen? I need the next book like now. Even though this is a reread, I read this book at the beginning of 2023, and when I tell you, I remember the basics, but definitely not any of the details. So I was thinking like, oh shoot, we're gonna have happily ever afters for everybody. Like, what's the point of a second book? But then she was like, ha, got you. You thought, and shit just hit the fan and nothing was working out, and it's just confusion, and I just all the things. And I'm ready to see what these characters get up to in this second book, because like I'm rooting for certain couples and I need them to get together. And I read the synopsis of the second book and I'm like, hold on, Krystal. Don't play with me. Like, don't do that to me. So anyway, super excited. Had a really great time. 4-star, all the feels, all the good things. Love this book. And you should pick it up. And with me finishing the Davenports, that brings us to the end of this video. I definitely feel like I got my historical romance fix. And, you know, I kind of feel the, wait, that sounds gross. I'm not going to say that. I gave myself, I don't know if that sounds good either. I am no longer missing Bridgerton. I'm just going to say it that way. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not missing Bridgerton anymore. I feel like I almost got to the point where I'm burnt out on historical romances, so I think I'm gonna be straight for a while. I had a really good time. I feel like this vlog was successful overall. We have read a lot of good books. Quick recap: we first read Half a Soul, and that ended up being a 4-star for me. Then we moved into Anna Maria and the Fox, a 4.5, and we did end up DNFing Unladylike Lessons in Love, but that was just a me thing. It wasn't even like a writing thing or the book thing. It was on me. So, you know, my bad. And then finally, with the Davenports being a 4-star, I hope y'all had a good time watching me read these books, and maybe you found some things to kind of tide over until your next Bridgerton rewatch or until the next season comes out. And if you've read these books or you have any more recommendations that you think I would like, please let me know down in the comments below. I would love to have a chat with you about these books and any others that you may suggest. And I just want to thank you again for spending time with me, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.